Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you're a Muslim creator, I'm going to show you why you should be running intrinsic webinars as soon as you can. It's a 2-day live class that, if done right, is going to increase the conversion rate on your offer. My name is Ben Pilton and I've generated over 333,000 US dollars in the past 7 months for my clients, and I even won Skool games in June of this year. So let's get into it. First, we'll quickly go through what an intrinsic webinar actually is and how it works. Then I'll tell you the best places and how you can host on there. Then I'll show you the exact scripts you can use, the exact funnel pages, the marketing, the upsell offer, and the delivery and operations that go into this. Quick disclaimer, this video is going to be a full guide from A to Z on how to set up these webinars, even if you know nothing about setting up webinars right now. So what is an intrinsic webinar? To make it very simple, it's a 2-day live class where your goal is to break beliefs that stop people from taking action. And then while you're breaking those beliefs, you sell people into a high-ticket offer that will actually help them in a positive way, right? Don't be out here scamming people. But on day one, what you want to do is you want to give some value and break bad beliefs only, okay? So do not try to do any pitches on day one, and then you save the best value, the juiciest things for day two, and you kind of tease it on day one that we're going to cover the best things on day two. And then on day two, the first thing you want to do is start with a story that pre-frames buying behavior and gets people into that mindset. A story that they can relate to, a story of someone who was in their shoes that ended up taking positive action by breaking bad beliefs and then being successful. At that moment, you can pitch right after that, keep giving value, and then at the end, you can do a Q&A and a final pitch. Now, in terms of metrics, what is conservative here, let's say you had 200 people sign up to your webinar, around 30 to 50% will show up normally. It can be more, it can be less, but if they're quality, then they will show up around 50%. So let's say 200 people sign up. That means that you will have around 100 people on your webinar. From those 100 people, the close rate on high ticket sales is between 0.05 and 0.2%. What does that actually look like? Let's say 100 people showed up to the webinar. You'll be closing around 5 to 20 high ticket sales from that. Again, this is not a guarantee, but this is just the data that I've seen so far. The exact number is going to depend on a lot of variables. Now, this is going to be run either monthly or bi-weekly. The more often you can do it, the better. But if you see it getting a bit boring for your audience, then maybe you want to reduce the frequency. And also, a lot of concepts that are for successful webinars are from this book, One to Many by Jason Fladlien. So definitely check that out if you want to, but I'm going to cover everything you need to know for it on this video as well, okay? Now, in terms of where to host the webinar, you don't have a lot of options. I would recommend either Zoom or Riverside from the research I've done and what I've used. There are other tools out there. Just make sure you check Trustpilot because there's a lot of ones that just don't have good customer support, etc. The most important thing is you want to make sure 100% that you can host everyone. That means try to test it out before you actually do the webinar. Obviously, you can't test with like 600 people before you do it, but just make sure that everyone's going to fit based on the service that you're using. And I'm actually going to show you a setup guide for both Zoom and Riverside. I personally recommend Zoom. It's just easier, it's more familiar. Everyone has the app. So let's jump into the Zoom setup guide right now. So here I am on Zoom. I'm just going to log in. If you don't have an account, make an account. Okay, cool. We're logged into Zoom now. And what you want to do to see what plan you have is go to plans and billing at the bottom here on the admin section, right? And on plan management, it will show you what plan you have. I just clicked that again, so it's just loading again. And if you come to plan details over here, I know it's tiny, but if you click this, it's gonna show you what you have. So you see here, hosts up to 100 participants. If you know you're gonna have more than that, let's say you have 1,000 signups, this is just not gonna work for you. So you need to make sure that you upgrade it. So on Zoom, you can either come down here and choose Zoom webinars, or you can choose large meeting. The difference is that on large meeting, it's basically just a Zoom meeting, but more people. But with Zoom webinars, there are some extra tools. If you click learn more, as you can see, there's reactions, polls, Q&A. I mean, there's reactions in regular one as well, but the most important thing is the polls and the Q&A, which I don't believe are on the regular calls. But if you don't really care about that, you don't really want to do that, then obviously you can just do large meeting. And as you can see here, for 500 participants, it's $67 Canadian a month. And then you can go up to 5,000 with Zoom. If you need more than that, then you need to use a dedicated service because Zoom will only go to 5,000, or you'll probably have to talk to Zoom sales for that. So that's the Zoom guide. Once you set that up, it's pretty much as simple as creating an event for webinars. Or if you decided to just keep regular Zoom and just get large meeting because this one is cheaper, then what you can do is just create a new event and schedule it out. And then you can basically get everyone to add that event on their calendar. So here I am on Zoom. Let's say you signed up to one of those plans. What you need to do is come here to schedule, and then you can just rename the event. So whatever your webinar name is, you just type it there. And then you set the date, you set the time, and you set the ending time, and make sure that the time zone is correct here for you. Make sure that repeat is just on never. And you can even come down here to more options. You can add more specific things, a location, you don't need to add that because it's gonna be online, a description, you can add any attachments you want and stuff like that. And then once this is ready, you just press save. And once it's saved, it's gonna be here and you can invite people, you can copy the invitation, and I'll show you exactly how to actually make a kind of downloadable calendar invite later as well. Now, if you sign up with Zoom webinar, the setup is a little bit different, but it's not hard at all. I'm gonna link this document that Zoom provides here as well on exactly how you can schedule a webinar. And basically it's on your login, on your account on Zoom. You're gonna see a webinars thing on the left here. And then if you have it, you can basically sign up and set up a webinar here. It's super easy. That's Zoom done. Now for Riverside, you can find the link in the description. Just come here, press start for free. And then you can continue either with Google, Apple, or you can just continue with email, whatever you want. I'm gonna continue with Google. Once you're making your account, it's gonna ask you to fill out this survey. You can also press skip on the top right here. Now it's gonna ask you what your first project's gonna be. You wanna come here and click webinar. And then it's gonna ask you more questions. You can press skip on the top right again. Now it's gonna give you a special offer to try the paid version for 14 days. You can press start trial or you can press maybe later. Now you'll see something like this, or you might see a different menu, but basically what you wanna do is plan. So schedule and invite guests, you press that, and then you give it a name for your webinar. So again, Benham's webinar, or whatever your webinar name is. And then you can even have basically pre-recorded content. You can have audience registration as well. These are the pro features, but you can set those up as well. It's very easy. And you can even have live stream destinations, like it can stream on other platforms. I don't recommend doing that for these webinars, but that's it. And then you create the session and it will say add to Google Calendar. If you click that link, you can even copy this link and then have it be your add to calendar for other people because it's the same thing. But yeah, once you set that up, you can come here and you'll see it on sessions and you can press start session. It will ask you for permission to connect your camera and your microphone and everything like that. And then you just press join studio and now you're in and everyone else can join. You can copy the link, put it into your emails or whatever you want, and you can send it out, okay? It's that simple. You have your mic options here, camera, speaker, reactions, everything you expect. And you have a chat here on the right side as well. Brand, text, all of that stuff. That's not gonna be relevant for the webinar, but that's pretty much it for the Riverside setup. Part 3, the script for your webinar. This is a very important piece and it could greatly affect the conversion rate if not done properly. I have a document here that I made that pretty much goes through Jason Fladlian's method for making webinars and the most important concepts for it. I also have a quick 2-day breakdown if you don't want to read all of the Jason Fladlian stuff. But basically, if I was to make it so simple, day 1, pure value, break bad beliefs that they have, save the juiciest parts for day 2, keep hinting at day 2 throughout day 1. Don't overdo it though. And you can say stuff like, tomorrow we're gonna go deep on XYZ topic, but today I just wanna make sure you have ABC overview. And then at the end of day 1, just remind them to come to day 2 and give them their most desired, tangible, like specific outcome that they can actually get, that they will get from day 2, okay? No pitch on day 1. And then day 2, you can start with my story or any other story and make sure that it pre-frames a buying behavior. For example, I noticed a bunch of new faces yesterday and today, and a lot of people have been asking me if I can share a bit more about my story. So we'll start with my story. Then, as I mentioned on day 1, I'll share my specific program that helps you on XYZ in weeks instead of years. If that's still cool with you, drop a 1 in the chat and we can get started. Let people drop 1s in the chat. Now, what are buying behaviors? These are the things that you need to frame, okay? Frame these as behaviors of successful people, either directly by literally saying it or subtly by just telling a story where people do these things. Deciding quickly with incomplete information. This does not mean that you're taking blind guesses, right? But once you have a certain amount of information that you can make an educated guess with, then that's when you should be making the decision, okay? So you choose with 70%, someone that chooses with 70% of the data instead of waiting for perfect 1000% certainty before they do something, okay? Because that person, by the time it's 100%, the chance is already gone, okay? Acting before they actually feel ready, right? Because most of the time, you're not actually supposed to feel ready before you do something. You feel ready once you're actually doing it and once you get used to doing it. Taking full responsibility for their outcomes. Being relentlessly coachable. This just means they're humble. They don't mind getting corrected. They don't mind listening to advice, right? Prioritizing speed over comfort. Investing ahead of current circumstances. So you're basically telling them that they should be investing in their future, not where they are right now. Solving problems with money, not excuses. Like they're supposed to ask, how do I make this work? Instead of like, oh, this is not going to work for me because of XYZ. Get them to commit publicly, which basically means saying their dream or their goal or what they want to do out loud, which puts a lot more pressure on them and which is good for them taking action. Valuing access and leverage over do it yourself. So instead of trying to do everything themselves, they prefer to buy the shortcut, so to speak, that will get them there quicker because they know they're going to save the most valuable thing on this earth, which is time. Staying in the game after setbacks. Another obvious one, but very important, is someone does not just quit after getting down. They get back up, right? If something's not going well, they continue at it. They know that this is just a test. Measuring by outcomes, not feelings. So doesn't care about like how they feel about something. As soon as they feel bad, they just like leave. No, it's like you're gonna continue doing it until you see the data and then make decisions based on the data. Being focused, so not saying yes to every single side quest that you have out there, every shiny object that comes up. Paying attention, doing the homework, thinking in terms of return on investment. Establishing commitment when it's actually working, so doubling down on the things that give you good outcomes based on data instead of just like, going all over the place, doing all different things, or when something's working, you just go to something else. No, that's not how you want them to do it. Anyway, these are just some examples of buying behaviors, okay? Now, before you start my story, you want to hook them to stay until the end, right? By the way, for everyone who stays until the end today, I'll be covering the thing they want the most, and then I'll also be giving away the show up gift completely for free to everyone who's at the end of the webinar, right? Obviously, you need a way to give people the show up gift. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. But what's at the end essentially must be worth staying for. The pitch, you can pitch hard. Don't be afraid of being salesy because remember, you get their permission throughout the webinar to pitch them on day one and then again in the beginning of day two. Tell them what the investment is. Do a full pitch deck of what's included and have a good money back guarantee. This is highly recommended to get people to take action. And then you can go back to value, do that for a while. And then throughout the value, you can give regular intervals, CTAs, drop the link in the Zoom chat, etc. And Q&A at the end, and then another call to action and pitch. Guys, if you're getting even a shred, even a tiny piece of value from this video so far, then make sure you go to the link in the description or the pinned comment because I will literally run this webinar for you for free. Just go to the website, scroll down, book a call, and let's have a chat. In terms of JSON Flatlane, I'm gonna walk you through like the most important concepts. Essentially, in the intro, what you wanna do is you wanna hook them super hard and get their attention, okay? And you want to establish authority by showing undeniable proof. And then you want to set the rules, so to speak, of the presentation. Okay. So the hook, you want to start with a big promise. Okay. This has to be specific and something that they actually want. Okay. So how to get XYZ result without pain, for example. Then there's something called the 2 agendas frame, which is basically giving them your actual intentions and being honest from the beginning, which kind of lowers people's guard and gets them to trust you more for some reason. Whatever that reason is, doesn't matter. But basically what you can say is, I have 2 agendas today. First, I want to teach you XYZ topics so you can get XYZ tangible benefit. Second, at the end, I'm going to pitch you something to help you get there faster. If that's okay with you, type a 1 or type yes in the chat. I like 1 because it's just easier to type. If that's okay with you, type 1 in the chat. One thing about Jason Flatlane is he always wants the audience to be engaging throughout the webinar. And I think this is very important to the success of the webinar. This is going to help you greatly once you get to the pitch. Authority, give them proof on why you're the expert. Future pacing, tell them what their life is actually going to look like once they learn how to do what you're teaching them, right? Once you have this AI agency, you have the time freedom you want, you'll be able to study the Quran how you want, etc., etc. I'm going to talk about how to do the show up gift properly later as well. Now, part 2 on Jason Flatlane's method is the content. So The goal with the content is to shift beliefs, not just teach and give value. Okay, this is not just about this is how you do this, this is how you do this. You want to actually change their beliefs. Okay, if you teach just like how to, then they're gonna feel a bit overwhelmed and they're not gonna buy. If you teach what to do and then remove their internal blocks, they're gonna actually want the solution even more, and you're the only one that has the solution. This is how you want to frame it. The one big belief, the one big domino. For example, if I can make you believe that AI agencies are the only way to get time and money freedom, and the only way to do it is through the XYZ agency method, then you have to buy. That's like an internal statement that you can use for yourself when coming up with the idea and the hypothesis of the webinar. So now we move on to belief breaking. The way you can kind of think of this is you can start off with the vehicle first. You want to talk about how instead of having the false belief of, oh, this method won't work, or oh, AI agencies don't work, you prove first that the old way is broken. So regular agencies or XYZ method of AI agencies don't work and they're broken. And now your new unique mechanism, the ABC AI agency, is now the superior vehicle, and then use case studies, use proof to show that this vehicle works. So the ABC AI agencies works because look at this guy, he got this result. Look at this other guy, got this result, right? And try to use different types of people to show that it works for everyone. And people that can relate to, obviously, people that look like them. The second false belief is internal ones, right? This is just an example, by the way. You can think of probably way more based on your audience, but some people might say, okay, this might work for others, but I'm not smart enough or I'm not good enough with tech. You reframe that and show how your method actually completely removes the need for, let's say, coding, because this tool that you have, it does it for you. ABC AI agency method does not actually require you to be a coder because it has this tool in it that does the coding for you. And then there's external beliefs, like I don't have the time or the money or XYZ resource. Then you can reframe it and show how this method actually creates more time and money, and therefore it pays for itself, okay? So stuff like that for the belief breaking. There's the transition part, which is basically going from teaching, aka giving value or breaking beliefs, to selling them your thing. In the 2-day webinar method, the intrinsic webinar method, you want to do this on day 2. Okay, so at the beginning of day 2, as I mentioned. And so it's not going to be as much of a transition, right? But if you want to do a 1-day webinar, then this is basically how you can do it. If you're doing a 2-day webinar, I already explained how you can do it. In terms of the transition, if you're doing on day 1, just quickly recap exactly what you covered and show them how much value they already got. Then you can ask them a series of questions, like to get them to say yes, right? Did you enjoy this? Can you see how this will change your business? Do you get this valuable? Stuff like that. And then you can give them a few different closes, like whatever you want. There's a lot of different closes out there, but here's some examples that you can use. Now you have 2 choices. Choice 1, you can take what I just taught you and try to do it alone, aka the hard way. You're probably gonna make mistakes, you're probably gonna lose a lot of money, and you're probably gonna waste a lot of time, okay? Or option number 2, you let me do it for you / with you, the easy way. So using the system I've already built, the mistakes I've already made, right? This is gonna make it so much easier for you. It's gonna save you time, it's gonna save you money. And then you ask them, is it okay if I spend a few minutes showing you exactly how we can help you implement this? Type a 1 in the chat if yes. You ask them permission in the beginning, you ask them permission now. You've been getting yes answers from them from these questions as well. And this is gonna make it a much easier pitch, okay? And they're gonna be more receptive to it. And then obviously what you wanna do is make the offer so irresistible that they're gonna feel bad saying no. So essentially give an offer so good that it feels stupid saying no. And the classic way to do this that is still done to this day is you list the component 1 and then you give it its value, and then component 2 and you give its value, and then component 3 and you give its value, and then you say, obviously it's gonna end up being like a huge number, for example, right? Like the ABC AI agency method is worth 5,000, and then we have another done for you service which is worth 3,000, and then this service which is worth 2,000. Now it's like all worth $10,000, but I'm not actually gonna charge you $10,000 for that, right? But if all this did was give you one big benefit, like whatever that one big benefit is, if all this did was give you as much free time as you could possibly ask for, would it be worth it? If all this did was get you to consistent 10K months, would it be worth it? If all this did was get you to consistent 2-3K months from your own income, from your own business that you're not working for anyone else in, would it be worth it? And then you can basically reveal the actual price, which should be like around 10% of the total value. This is just like a general guideline. Obviously, it doesn't have to be. And the total value is the value that you give here, which is like, the huge number, right? I'm sure you've seen this. Everyone does this at this point. Now, in terms of the bonuses, so these are going to be very important. Sometimes bonuses, if done well, can actually sell even more than the main product. Like they can be the reason people buy even more than the actual product itself. And a cool way to do bonuses is to use them to answer objections. So for example, if they say, I don't have time, well, you say, actually, that's where bonus number 1 comes in, which is a done for you template pack, for example, right? Or, I'm not technical. Well, that's why we have bonus number 2, which is the free tech setup concierge service, right? You're not going to need to know anything technically related, right? And then you want to do risk reversal, which is a guarantee. Classic one is a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day guarantee, whatever it is. If you take all the required actions, right, and you don't get results, I'll refund you all your money back. Or better than money back guarantee. This is obviously a very strong guarantee if you know you have a very good product. If you do the work and you don't get results, I'll not just refund you, but I'll refund you double, or I'll pay you an extra $100, or I'll pay you an extra $300 for wasting your time. You're gonna get not that many refunds if your product is good, and the amount of times that you had to pay someone an extra 100, 200,000, whatever it is, you're gonna already have so much money in the bank from the amount of people that closed because of this guarantee that it's not gonna make a difference, essentially. There are a lot of different types of guarantees you can use. Of course, unconditional. If you join and you don't like it for whatever reason, you get all your money back, no questions asked. Continue to work guarantee. If you join, you take the required actions and you don't get ABC result, will work for you for free for X more days or X more months until you do get ABC result. This is a good one if you don't wanna lose money, let's say from short term. But yeah, you can just split test and see which one works better for you. These are just the different options that are out there. Of course, there's scarcity and urgency. There has to be a reason to buy now. If there's quantity scarcity, it's like, okay, there's only 50 spaces in this, and after those 50 spaces are gone, there's no more spaces. Time urgency is when you say, okay, bonuses are gonna disappear when this webinar ends. So imagine you're saying on the webinar, if you join today, you're gonna get bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3. Now, all those bonuses are gonna be gone once the webinar ends. Or if you're doing a discount, you can say this discount is available until the webinar ends. That's also time urgency. Now the Q&A, this is another closing opportunity. You can have a Q&A where you're basically answering frequently asked questions, or you can let the audience come in and ask you questions. Once you get better, you're gonna be able to turn answers into ways that you sell your offer. So for example, if someone asks, does this work for XYZ industry? You say, yeah, and not only does it work, but XYZ industry is perfect for this because, and then you explain why, right? And you kind of switch it around, you put the ball back into their court and you say, that's why you should do this today. For example, click the link, do it now, blah, blah, blah. So you should definitely also do a countdown no matter what or how you decide to do the Q&A closes. Do a countdown, have it up on the screen of like a 15-minute thing or however long you want your Q&A to be. And this is gonna give them even more urgency, right? The countdown has to be specifically for the bonuses or the discount or whatever running out, right? So you can say in the webinar, I'm gonna put a 15-minute timer on the screen now and we're gonna start a Q&A session. When this 15 minutes is done, special offer ABC is gonna be gone. Obviously very strong. Few things not to forget, teach strategy. The what and the why. Don't go straight into the how and like the specific things of how they can do XYZ things, because if you teach the tactics like go here, click this, type this, then do this, then it's gonna feel like work and they may feel overwhelmed, but that's not the point of this webinar. The point of this webinar is to teach strategy and to break beliefs, okay? And help them understand the value of your product because it solves the how, which is the most important part. So part 4, the funnel pages. We're gonna start off with the landing page / registration page of the webinar. I'll show you a quick example. This is not what I 100% recommend, but it's an interesting one because obviously a Muslim brother here, he's gonna run a webinar, a 3-day webinar, which you can try as well if you want to. It's gonna give you pretty much the same thing, but it's just that the last day you're gonna be able to maybe get a few more people that didn't sign up on day 2 for your pitch. And this is a very simple page, just a headline, picture, and subheadline, and then click to book your spot. Form is very simple as well. I actually filled it out here live, so see here. And as you can see here, brother Thom is even doing the live WhatsApp group, which I'm gonna cover later on in the video. I recommend to do either a Skool group or WhatsApp group. I prefer Skool personally, but you can do whichever one is easier for you to do. And as you can see here, you fill out the survey and you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. So I'll do that real quick as well. And as you can see here, I just filled out the form on that page, and he even has a VIP upsell, which I was gonna cover in this video as well. You can see it's all here already. Very interesting funnel. It's pretty standard for webinar, but I really like the way that he did it. You know, VIP, and you get 3 extra private calls. Like, that's pretty cool. They're most likely group calls, but I mean, still pretty awesome. And I like the way that he set up the page and everything. And you can even choose to keep your free ticket here, which is an interesting choice. And then you can join the, I don't know if it's a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group. Looks like it's a Telegram group, okay, but they wrote WhatsApp. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's pretty much the funnel. And then you join that, and it's like, it keeps you nurtured until you actually get to the webinar. Obviously, they have emails and stuff. They have your number and everything. So we're gonna cover all of that as well. We're gonna cover that down here, so don't worry about that. Yeah, I just wanted to share that landing page. Very good one to take inspiration from. I would still recommend having a VSL on the page instead of just it being empty. You can obviously split test this if you wanted to as well. Very easily. Most softwares now allow you to split test. Me personally, I prefer running websites like landing pages on either Framer or Go High Level, but it's really up to you. I'll quickly show you how Framer and GHL works, but I want to show you another example of a registration page, landing page for a webinar. This is from Alex Hormozy. So if I open this, you can see here, very, very clear, very, very simple, just title, right, headline, and the date for it, and then the VSL, big button over here, countdown over here, and then basically some more proof down here. Very, very good landing page. It's so clean. And also I want to talk a bit about the video player that he's using. This is not a normal video player. It's called VTurb. What I love about VTurb is that you can actually make the scroll bar on the video, like the time of the video, look like it's going really fast in the beginning and then slow down. This basically makes it so people continue watching, because nowadays people get distracted very easily. So if they see that thing moving so slowly, especially on a bit of a longer video, they're going to be discouraged and they're going to stop watching it. But with VTurb, you can make it go slower, and it's just such a good piece of software. And I recommend it if you were going to run a VSL. If you can pay for it, I don't know how much it is. Honestly, it's like 50 or 60 bucks a month, something like that probably. And then this is the opt-in page for Hormozy. So you saw his landing page, and then again, very simple. First name, last name, email, number, and then do you own a business? This is going to depend on your offer and who you're selling it to, etc., and who you want qualified. Obviously, Hormozy was doing it for, like, you know, a huge number of people. Thumbs one, the actual sign up is so simple. You just put 3 fields in and then you're in. But then if you want to upsell onto like the VIP package or join the Telegram group, etc., then it's a bit more. And I like how he framed it, like join the Telegram group to get you to fill out the form, and then it's like upsell to VIP after that point. But yeah, so the thank you page here, once they actually fill out the form, if they didn't get VIP, then you just give them this, your registration details. You can give them a bit more videos. Hormozy went crazy with the videos, which I love. Like, it just shows that if you put so much effort into something, that it's gonna do much better. So to generate these calendar links for your prospects to just click and add to their calendars, whatever calendar they might have, whether it's Apple, Google, Outlook, what you can do is go to this website, customer.io/tool/calendar link generator. I'll put it in the description as well. And it's gonna have this be empty initially. And what you can do is select the correct date and time. Let's say I want to run a webinar today at 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. December 9th. Then make sure you set the right time zone as well here. And then for the location, just paste your Zoom link. So for example, if I go back to my Zoom and I have the event here, what I can do is click these 3 buttons, these 3 dots, sorry, copy invitation. But then what you want to do is paste it somewhere and then just grab the Zoom link here, and then you can delete the rest of it. And then that can be the location of the meeting. And then here I can type Benham's webinar 2.0. And then that's all good. And then you can put a description. For example, this webinar is gonna be good. And then here are each of the links. So save each of these links. These are the different places that they can add. Maybe you don't need Yahoo and AOL or Office 365. But what you can do is copy the Google Calendar link and you drop it into the button that you have. And then as you can see here, it automatically comes up with the right name, with the right location and everything like that. You can even put the location, like the Zoom link here as well. If you want to add this to Outlook, it's the same thing. So just copy, make another button for Outlook. But the question is, how do you add it for Apple? So what you want to do for Apple is you want to download ICS here. And once you download the ICS, you can basically put it into your button. So let's say you're using Go High Level. you can actually put on Go High Level that this will download something, and then you can attach that file into Go High Level or whatever you're using. So that's how you get those 3 buttons there. Interesting here that Hormozi had a screenshot and save thing with all the details, which is, I think it's a pretty neat feature to have. Definitely you can add that in, it's very easy to do. And then the last thing he had at the bottom is the referral stuff, so the affiliate stuff. I'm gonna cover that in a second as well, but that's how you can do the thank you page for someone who did not sign up to VIP. The VIP upsell is what it sounds like. You get someone to pay you more money once they already registered for the webinar to get a bunch of bonuses. This needs to be worth it. For example, Thumb was giving 3 group calls with him. That's pretty good, like for an upgrade, right? Hormozi, what did he do? He was giving basically a pre-order of his book. His book is already this price. His book is already $29.99. You pay that to pre-order the book and get VIP, and then VIP gets you these bonuses. So for example, win a day in Vegas, and then you have guaranteed a priority copy of your book, like before everyone else. Then you get a VIP live stream, which goes on for a longer time. Then you get a free ticket to a post-launch virtual event, and then you get a high resolution recording of the video, and it's all for the same price of the book. This is what you call no-brainer. And then here you have frequently asked questions. Definitely have these, all of the most important objections. You can handle these all here. You should probably even have them on the base landing page, honestly. But if you don't want to clutter that page and get people confused, you can leave them out. Could be a good idea, actually. As you can see, Hormozi just has a small little thing here that says I don't want to upgrade or get VIP. I recommend you do this and you don't have like a huge button like Thumb, but it's completely up to you because they don't really even need to press that. We do want them to get the links and everything, but we also want them to VIP upsell if you're doing an upsell, because this is going to cover all your costs, what you paid for ads or any other costs that you have regarding the webinar. Also, a very small, tiny banner at the top of these pages. Even Thumb's one had one where it basically just says like an important piece of information. Registered, one more step, do not exit this page, right? Stuff like that will definitely help as well, especially on mobile where it's like a little bit bigger. But yeah, you need to make sure that these bonuses that you're giving for VIP are worth it. If you're just giving something very generic, like, I don't know, a PDF, it's not gonna be worth it for them, right? That can be like a lead magnet or something, right? So the VIP thank you page, this is how Hormozi's one looks. He had another VSL, right? And he was selling another like additional thing on the VIP purchase as well. So his VIP purchase had an add-on that you could have added to it, like on the checkout page of his VIP purchase, which is like 15 books and also a closer handbook, which is like only for people who add that add-on. And if you missed it, he'll let you add it here as well, which is genius. And then obviously the same links, the same screenshot thing, and a few things that probably you're thinking about as someone who just pre-ordered, right? Your pre-order was received. Any additional items are gonna be in your box, right? If you have any issues, go here. And if you wanna qualify for the giveaways, you need to be there live, right? Like important things, and then the referral thing at the bottom of the page again. So I really like the way Hormozi does it. You can literally just copy that and it's gonna do well. So then the VIP upsell checkout page. So let's say they click checkout. As you can see, the upsell on the 15 more books and the closer handbook and the advertising handbook are here. So if you literally just tick that box, that's another 500 to your order, and you get another 15 Money Models books as well. Genius thing to do. It just generates more revenue and pays for the ads that he was probably running for this. And he actually covered in the webinar that it did pay back like way more than how much he was paying for the ads from doing this, right? Social proof right here. Over 1 million copies sold. Obviously, that's very strong social proof. You can have that. And yeah, you just enter your information, pay now, boom, done. You can use, depends what payment processor you have here, but Go High Level has a very similar thing to this, and you can use pretty much any processor you want. You just want to make sure that it's like easy for the customer. If your payment processor has a very difficult menu like to fill out, then it's just not going to be ideal for the customer. But something like this is good. Replay page. Now, once the webinar is actually done, and you want to give them the replay and then get them to book a call or something. Let's say they didn't book a call or purchase your high ticket when they were on the webinar on day 2, you can have a replay page. So I'm going to cover this on the post webinar emails in a second as well. But essentially the replay page looks something like this. You have day 1, you have day 2 recording, and then you have book your call CTA now, social proof, stuff like that. Now this is not like the most insane page, but it gets the job done, as you can see, and it just gives them another opportunity while giving them value still. VSLs, of course, this is a very important part of the landing pages, and I think you should always have a VSL. It doesn't hurt. It's more work for sure, but it's worth it. I have a very basic VSL structure. It can be way more complicated than this, but I just want it to be very, very basic, okay? So let's start with rule number 0, which is the ground rules. You want to talk to one avatar, okay, one person. If you're a Muslim who wants to make 20K a month by working from home, for example, right? Very, very specific avatar. Then you want a clear CTA. So for example, book a call or click the orange button below to book a call, or apply now below by clicking the button below. And then you also want to match their awareness. So this is more something to do with ads, but let's say you're running ads to a cold audience. You would not necessarily want to talk about, more proof or the offer. You need to first talk about problem and pain and bring them to a higher, like a more level of awareness, which is making them warmer. And then you can give more proof and the offer. So that's in general. If you're running to a cold audience ads, you need to make sure you're talking about the right thing in the VSL. And you would have a different VSL for people who are colder. Now remember, you are selling them on registering for your webinar, not selling them on high ticket / other offers, okay? Everything should relate back to why they should sign up for the webinar. Remember this as well. The show up gift is a very important part, and I think it's a very powerful thing. Choose the gift to give to people that stay until the end of the webinar, and then build curiosity around it. Make sure, first of all, it's a good gift for actually showing up. Again, just like a regular PDF is not going to be something crazy. For example, Hormozi gave a crazy offer for free Skool community for 6 months and then $9 a month. Okay, that was like the cheapest ever and the longest ever Skool community, or 3 months. I don't know how long it was. But anyway, the point is it was really good. And he gave a full book that he never released, which is basically parts that he took out of his other books. This is a classic thing as well. But it's a really good show up gift that it makes it worth it for the people who actually showed up and stayed until the end, okay? So for example, I've been working, this is from Hormozi. I've been working on a project in secret for over 2 years. I won't tell you what it is yet, but I can tell you it's better than an NFT and it's less than a Bitcoin. And every single person who shows up live, including you, will get one absolutely free. All you have to do is one thing. You opt in below and you click submit. Click the button below and you sign up. This VSL does not need to be long. It can be between 3 to 6 minutes. It will get the job done, okay? Because this is just getting them to sign up for the webinar. It does not need to be a crazy 20-minute VSL. Part 1, the hook. What you want to do is stop them from scrolling, okay? Ask yourself when you write the hook, is this actually going to stop someone from scrolling? Basic template. If you're a XYZ avatar who wants dream outcome in time frame without thing that they hate, this will be the most important video you watch today. There's another one I've heard Hormozi say, which is ever look in the mirror and think, I should be further ahead by now, or something along those lines. That's a decent one as well. There's a lot of different hooks you can use. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. As long as you call out clearly who you're targeting and you don't make it so long, the hook shouldn't be more than 15 seconds, especially for something like this, and say it very clearly. Give them a big promise of what they're gonna get and why they should keep watching, okay? So for example, in the next 10 minutes, in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna show you how to go from bad situation to dream situation, okay? Essentially, you wanna actually talk about that in the video as well, okay? This is not just random stuff. This is actually talking about what you're gonna be teaching, but not going into extreme details of it, obviously. This is for avatar with minimum criteria. If that's not you, you can click away now. Another classic thing, just qualify them. If they're continuing to watch, it means that they are that kind of person. Make one main promise and call out who it's for and who it's not for, and then this will filter people out. Number 3, proof. You want to give undeniable reasons to the question, why listen to you? You want to give undeniable reasons. I've generated XYZ money. I've helped XYZ people lose XYZ amount of weight. Stuff like that. A basic template, my name is Benham. I've helped this many 100 people that are this avatar go from bad situation to a dream situation that they want. And then you can drop quick proof points like John lost 10 kg in 6 weeks. Anthony lost 30 kg in 6 months. Stuff like that. You don't need to give your life story. This can be 3 to 5 sentences and it will get the job done. But give specific numbers instead of vague statements where you can. 4th part of the VSL is the pain and the cost of their current situation. You want to make them feel like staying the same is the worst thing they can do. Not making a change is the worst thing they can do. A basic template for this is right now you're probably feeling like you tried everything when it comes to weight loss, blah, 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 other symptoms. But the real cost is that you're being overweight is meaning that you're losing money, you're losing time, you're being more stressed, blah, 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 right? Every week you're leaving happiness of XYZ, of spending time with your kids, of having more enjoyment with your kids, for example, on the table, stuff like that. And the rules for this is basically just you need to be able to describe their situation even better than they can, okay? If you can use their own words, for example, if you've had calls with your clients or sales calls even, and they've been using specific words, use those words in your copy, in your VSL. When they hear this, they should think only someone who was in my own position would know this. You know that moment when someone says something and you're like, oh my God, how does he know that? That's what you want them to feel. And then tie this to numbers. That feeling, right, of not being able to bend down and tie your shoelace is actually resulting in you losing tens of thousands of dollars a month, stuff like that. And then the fifth thing is you want to break beliefs and throw rocks. Show why the thing that they've been doing has not been working, and show why it's not really their fault, and break their beliefs around getting to their dream outcome. What does throw rocks mean? It means tell them why other methods or other competitors or any other solution is not going to work for them. For example, if you teach AI agency model, so how to sell AI automations, talk about how marketing agencies are outdated and saturated and not future-proof, okay? This is throwing rocks at that and saying why it does not work. And you can say like, you know what, I don't even blame you for being lost, for not being able to make $10,000 a month, because these people are, all they're doing is trying to sell you scam offers that teach you how to build marketing agencies. That's just an example of what you can do. And then, you know, basic templates are here as well. And you want to basically attack the bad methods, never actually attack specific people, obviously, and set up your unique mechanism as the clear and best alternative. First of all, have a good name. I didn't write this here for some reason, but have a really good name for your unique mechanism. I was in a mentorship once, and I remember the unique mechanism that the mentor came up with was psychological filtering, okay, or something like that. And it needs to be a name where it instantly sounds familiar. Whoever hears this basically is like, oh yeah, I feel like I've heard of that before. If they feel like that, and you show it to a bunch of people and they have that reaction, that is a good sign. Explain what you do at a high level for your unique mechanism. Don't give a full tutorial, okay? So for example, instead of bad thing, bad thing, bad thing, here's the simple 3-step model we use for psychological filtering, whatever it's called, whatever your unique mechanism is. Step 1, we do this. Step 2, it does this. Step 3, it does this, okay? And then for each step, you can just give a few sentences and explain why it's actually important and why it matters. Don't give more than 3 steps. Try to narrow everything down and bucket it into those 3, and don't go into extreme details, okay? This is just enough to show them that what you're saying is legit and convince them to join the webinar and find out about your actual method. Last thing, if you can, in the VSL, future pace them, right? Let them feel the win. Like, imagine how you're gonna be in a couple of months when you've lost 10 kg and you're able to actually enjoy time with your kids more. Or once you've actually gone past your current plateau of 5K a month and now you're making 15K a month, imagine how it's gonna feel. Imagine what you're gonna be able to do for your family. Imagine the time freedom you're gonna have, etc., right? But you wanna give an offer snapshot and a guarantee, right? So show them how the webinar, which is the vehicle essentially, is gonna get them there. We're gonna cover XYZ together in name of your webinar. Inside, we're gonna do this on day 1, this on day 1, this on day 1. We're gonna do this on day 2, this on day 2, this on day 2, right? And then what you can do is maybe stack some specific deliverables. So for example, at the end of this webinar, you're gonna know how to do A, you're gonna know how to do B, and you're gonna know how to do C. If you're doing an actual offer, this will be good in a VSL to do risk reversal, but on a webinar, you don't really need to do it on a VSL for a webinar. Just don't overcomplicate it, and then only guarantee what you can actually control if you're doing a VSL for an actual offer, not a webinar. In terms of your first CTA, you can just talk about what to do, how to do, what they get, and what happens next, okay? And be as clear as you can. Important thing I just wanna talk about here is use your show up rate gift to do your first CTA. So for example, I've been working on a project, again, this is from Hormozy. I can't tell you what it is, better than an NFT, less than a Bitcoin. Every single person will get one. All you need to do is click opt-in. You need to submit the form, fill out the form and join. Again, a show up rate is a small concrete incentive you attach to the webinar/appointment to make more people show up. Small does not mean like it should be bad or not of quality. It needs to be of good quality and worth it for people to feel like at the end of the webinar it was good and what they got was worth it. Otherwise they won't attend future webinars. A basic template for a CTA is if you're an avatar and you want this result, then here's what to do next. Go down in the description or go down below this video, click the orange button, fill out the form to make sure the webinar is a good fit for you. And then you either can tell them how to actually buy your VIP upsell, or you can tell them what the thank you page looks like and how to add the webinar to the calendar, or you can just do none of that and then the page will just go there automatically to the upsell page, and you have another VSL on the upsell page, which is selling them on doing the the VIP upsell. You can use all the concepts here and then just tailor to the VIP upsell. I would not make the VSLs super long if you're doing a VIP upsell, because you just don't want people to keep watching so many videos, right? Couple minutes each should be more than enough for you to go through all of these things. And yeah, you can handle some objections as well. Now you might be thinking money. Now you might be thinking time. Now you might be thinking XYZ. Answer and then get them to book every time you answer an objection. So for example, you handle an objection and then you say, click the link in the description, click the button below and sign up. And then you handle the next objection, okay? That pretty much covers VSLs in a very basic way, but that's more than enough to actually make the VSLs successful. Now, what I recommend in terms of your landing pages is either Framer or Go High Level. I'm gonna now show you how to use Framer. So you wanna head over to framer.com, okay? And you just want to do sign up if you don't have an account. Again, sign up with Google, whatever it is. And then what should happen is it should bring you to a page like this and you can create a new project. Now, the easiest way to use Framer is with templates, and this is why I love it so much. If you're on this page, you can either click new project and it will load in a new website for you, and then you can choose a template from here. I personally recommend going to the actual templates page, which you can just do by typing Framer templates on Google, and then it will take you to that page. Either way, you can preview them here. So for example, I clicked the little preview icon here with the eye, and it took me to this, and I can see how that page looks. And if I want to make a template from it, and then once you, let's say I want to use this one, I'll just click on it. It's going to basically duplicate it into my workspace, and then I'll be able to edit everything. So for example, I can change this to test, test, test. And as you can see, you can basically just make your website look amazing just like that. And then you can even change the colors, so like it can look completely different on your website versus someone else's website, right? And this is why I love Framer, because it's easy to use, it makes super clean websites, and there's usually a lot of like animations and a lot of these templates, and you can basically take advantage of those, you know, cooler looking things, but without actually being a coder or anything like that, okay? So with Go High Level, you can either have a 14-day free trial, or if you have an account already, just go ahead and log into app. If you do a 14-day free trial, you should just fill in your info here and you'll be good to go. Now, once you're actually in here and you're on your sub account, first of all, make sure you're on a sub account. You can check that by clicking the top left over here, and then making sure you click one of the sub accounts. You should be able to see this option sites. That's how you know you're in the sub account. And once you're here, you can just press new funnel. Again, you can either choose templates or with AI or just from blank. So for example, if I go to templates here and continue, you can see there's a bunch of different ones. Again, you can just like copy it, change the text, and then make it yours. And now for the marketing. I know this looks complicated, but trust me, it's actually very simple. What I recommend you do for marketing is a 10-day live waiting list, okay? I mean, everyone that signs up gets added to a live waiting list. A live waiting list is one where they can actually interact with each other. The people that join can actually either see messages from you like WhatsApp, or they can talk to each other on comments on something like Skool. Now, I'm gonna show you exactly how to set this up on Skool and WhatsApp. On Skool, if you just go to skool.com on your web browser on the URL, what you need to do is come here and press create your own. First of all, you need to make an account. Once you've made an account, you can either choose one of these plans. The biggest difference is that there's a higher transaction fee on the $9 a month one, every transaction you do. So if you're doing a paid community, it's not really gonna work the same way, obviously, for a webinar, because it's gonna be a free community. But if you care about stuff like, you know, having a custom URL like at the end of the Skool thing, then do this one. If you want to sell people something inside of the classroom or inside of the Skool community, then do this one. They both have unlimited members and all the other features and everything like that. The one thing is that there will be suggested communities on like the bottom right of your Skool. So if you do not want that, then go for the $99 a month. So here I've actually made a new community to demonstrate this to you, and I'm just gonna say under 10K is my audience size. Okay, cool. Now you're gonna see a bunch of tasks here that you can tick off. Don't worry about that right now. I'm gonna show you how to set this community up for the best result of your webinar waiting list. So basically, the first thing you wanna do is go into settings, and you wanna make sure that you're the only one that can make any posts in this community, okay? The way you do that is you go to categories here on the left side, and then general discussion, you press the three dots here, you press edit, and then you press admins only can post in this category, and you save. Now, no one's gonna be able to post except you. And then what you wanna do is come up with a question to ask people that have now joined this group. So for example, where are you from? Hey, welcome to the webinar waiting list. Go below and drop a comment telling us where you're from. After that, go through the comments and reply to one person's comment. Something like this is going to be very easy to answer. You want a question that's easy to answer that everyone can just instantly know the answer to, and boom, they just drop it. Send an email to all members. Make sure that you tick that on, and make sure it's obviously there's only going to be general discussion. Do not make any other categories, because then other people will be able to post in it. You can make more too, but what I like to do is just have this one post only, and then I post this. But basically what people will see when they come in is all they will see is just this post, okay? And then they'll come in and they'll comment, or they'll see all these comments in there, and people are like having whole like full-blown conversations in these comments. And if you ask another question, which is to do with, let's say, your group or your webinar that you think is even spicier or better than this, then it can increase interactions a lot as well. I would just disable the classroom, everything else except the calendar. And you can do that by actually coming to tabs here, disable classroom. You can leave the map and the calendar on, because you know people can see when the webinar is, and you can actually create my own event, create the webinar here as well. And then on the map, people will be able to actually see where other people are. And you can even tell them in this post, like, hey, by the way, check out the map feature. And then what you can do is save that, go back to the map, copy the URL, come back to your post, edit that, and drop the map URL there as well. Now people can actually go to the map and check that feature out. Maybe they wouldn't have done that otherwise. So this is how you set up the Skool community. Make sure you change obviously the name, the description, the picture, everything like that. Public basically means that it'll be on Google SEO. People who are not actually members are gonna be able to join. So actually do not set it to public. Now that I think of it, do not set it to public. You want people to only be joining once they've opted in. How do you actually add people to the community? Let's say you have like a form on a landing page. How do you get someone to go from that form into this community? You can use something like Zapier and create an automation where once you get your form filled out from, let's say, Typeform or whatever service you're using, it will automatically send them an email invite to Skool, because Zapier has a Skool feature. So I'm on Zapier now, and if I go here and let's say I use something like fill out for my forms, right? You can use other things as well. Let's say you use Typeform here, Typeform. What you can do is choose an event, let's say new entry, make sure you connect your Typeform account, so you'll have to log into it here. And then what you want to do is add the action that it's going to take. So from Skool, you add the Skool thing here, choose an event, invite member. You come here, you select your Skool account, and then it will test it, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's how easy it is to invite someone to your Skool community once they fill out a form. If you have a form service that is like super obscure, then you can do it with a webhook. Maybe you can make your form service send a webhook, and then Zapier can like obviously catch that hook, but it should not be too complicated. What you can also do in the community is make posts over time as you get closer to the webinar. You can do daily posts, you can do every other day. I would say at least do every other day, so that people will start getting hyped and people will keep active in this community. Again, the only way that they can actually be active is by you making posts. If you want to allow them to make posts, you can do that as well. It's not the end of the world, but initially maybe it's better to just keep that one, so that especially if people are new to Skool, they can kind of get used to it first, and then you can finally allow them to make posts as well. And then obviously you can build up hype here as you get closer to the webinar as well. Now, in terms of WhatsApp, it's very, very simple. All you need to do is create a new WhatsApp group. I would not create a community. Those are just confusing, personally, in my opinion, and for most people they will be confusing. Create a new WhatsApp group, and then what you can do is get the link to that group. There's a lot of videos out there that show exactly how you can get the join link of a WhatsApp group. You can even make it a QR code if you want to, and once you have that group, you just make sure that on the thank you page you have that QR code, or you have that link there, so that they can join, and you make sure that like you point all signs to them joining that group, right? Similar to how, if you remember Thumb's one, he had like, once you finish everything, the last step is like you join the group, and it's just like one page, one button, join the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group or whatever it was. You can even add it in the email that that you send once they opt in as well. You can definitely do that too. And yeah, you just need to make sure whatever happens that they know that they need to join the WhatsApp group. Then in the WhatsApp group, if you're going for that version instead of Skool, just make sure you do like daily updates. You can do voice notes, stuff like that, and just keep them engaged and keep them nurtured, along with now all the other stuff I'm going to talk about. I'm going to quickly go through these because they're pretty self-explanatory, but in terms of promotional emails, you pretty much want to send one a day until you get like a week out, okay? And you can see here all the different like goals and stuff from these emails. You want to also keep changing things up. Don't do the same email every single time, right? Sometimes give pure value, sometimes do value with a call to action, sometimes do like a story, sometimes do, you know, just giving proof and like teasing something sometimes, you know, teasing the webinar, I mean, sometimes, right? Just keep changing it up. Don't do the same thing all the time. Then as you get closer to the webinar, you can start doing 2 emails a day. Then as you get to the last 7 days of the webinar, you can start doing 2 emails a day. This is just, again, a general rule. It does not mean you need to copy this verbatim or like exactly this, but this is how you can do it if you've never done webinar before and you just want to make sure that you're doing the right things. And you can do like an AM email, like a morning, and then an evening email. Obviously switch these up, do different things, but always have a CTA in these to the webinar because now you're so close to it, okay? I do recommend to at least like start hyping up a webinar from 4 weeks out. You can do even more, you can do even further than that out. I mean, it's gonna give you more people. But let's say you're doing it every month, then, you know, 4 weeks is like a decent time span to hype them up. And then the last day before the webinar, you can just do like 3 emails, blast them out, just get everyone to join the group, join the webinar, stuff like that. One important thing I forgot to mention is that these promotional emails to get people to register for the webinar are of course only going to be for people who did not yet register. So make sure that these emails are not being sent out to people who already registered. You can filter and segment your email list by tags usually on most softwares. We use kit.com. Most software will allow you to tag the leads that you have and make sure that you do not send these emails to people who already opted in or they're gonna get very annoyed. Now, what about the people who have already opted in? Well, you can continue reminding them and continue giving them value. Again, a reminder that this is just a basic template. It does not mean you need to copy this word for word or anything like that. Until you're a week out, you can do an email a day and you can mix like value in along with like hype of their decision, along with like proof, right? You can add just try to give it variety so it doesn't get stale. And then when you're a week out, you can start doing 2 emails a day. Again, change it up like morning and evening, different types of emails, keep it fresh, right? Different proof. As much as you can give variety, you should do it. And then the last day, again, 3 emails, just reminding them what's gonna happen, reminding them what they're gonna get, reminding them of the show up gift, stuff like that. People forget these things, right? And then day 0, you can give them, like on the day, you can give them 2 emails, like one at the time of the webinar and then one maybe like 10 minutes later, like, oh, you're late to the webinar, or like, oh, did you not join yet? And then drop the link in it. And obviously in these 2 emails, just drop the link of the webinar, like in the email itself. You wanna make it as easy as possible for people to actually join the webinar, okay? So the post-webinar emails are only gonna be sent to people who showed up to the webinar, but they did not purchase. You can actually send this, now that I think of it, to people who didn't show up as well, but just keep in mind that that might affect, let's say, your conversion rate from these specific emails, okay? Like your conversion rate might be lower because people who didn't attend are gonna be like, oh, why am I even getting this email, right? I don't think it's gonna be like the end of the world if you sent it to people who didn't attend as well. But basically, most important thing is you wanna make sure in your email tags that you do not send this to people who already purchased or they already booked a call, okay? If they booked a call, they need to have a specific tag on them, which says webinar call booked. And then you need to make sure that you do not send these post-webinar emails to those people with that tag. And this can be all the way from like right after the webinar, these emails, until like 48 or 72 hours after the webinar. You can do it for longer, but I think it's just gonna be overdoing it at that point personally. The goal is to kind of give this vibe, okay? The vibe you wanna give is like a quick recap of the webinar, very, very short, and then like an immediate next step. So like in case you wanted to join but you didn't, or like I gave a very special offer on this webinar for those of you that maybe were on the fence or you want to take a bit longer to think. I'm gonna give you another chance right now with an extra bonus or with a different bonus or something, right? Click to book a call or to get XYZ, to purchase XYZ with the bonus, right? To get them to take action. And then basically you just continue this for like the next day or 2, right? And you can do it like 2 emails a day. First day, like right after the webinar, immediate email, and then 6 hours later, another email, and then the next day, morning email, and then middle of the day, and then end of the day of the next day email. If you want to do one, like again, last couple hours, it's up to you. But essentially what you want to do is blast them because this works. This has been proven, not just by me, but by like a lot of other people who do webinars to get people to actually take action. So yeah, you're definitely going to lose out on a lot of money if you do not have these emails emails written as well. Real quick about emails in general, you want to have all of these emails written way before the webinar, ideally. And then you want to set automations for them way before the webinar, right? You want to set date for the webinar, and then you can strategically set up these emails to be scheduled out by your email sending service on specific times and dates that you decide based on when your webinar is going to be. And once you have, imagine you have all these emails written and then you have all of them scheduled out, you don't need to do anything at that point. Obviously, it takes time and effort to actually set that up. It's definitely going to be worth it, because then you won't have anything else to worry about, okay? And they're going to be automatically sent out. Now, in terms of SMS, it's going to be a bit of a different strategy. The reason for that is because SMS guidelines are very strict, okay? Especially in America and Canada. I'm going to be honest, I do not know about other countries. I just know about America and Canada. And I know that you can only send SMS to people who gave you their phone number and they agreed to receive text messages from you. Now, you either got someone's number in two ways, either from before you even talked about the webinar, or from when they're opting into the webinar, they give you their SMS, okay? If they opted in from before and they're already like kind of warm and high intent based on your tags and your segments and everything, then feel free to kind of send them 1 or 2 SMS, get them to sign up to the webinar, but I wouldn't overdo that, okay? It's not like emails where you can send a lot of them. In terms of SMS, you can easily get like blocked by carriers and stuff, so I'll be careful with that. I would not send cold SMS personally for this. That's a risk you want to take, you can go ahead. If you have never sent SMS, I just want to mention this. It can be a bit tricky to set it up. There are guides out there that can help you set up your SMS based on like your business number and stuff like that you have. And there's a checklist here from Ring Central that I think is pretty useful. This is more for America, but if you're in Canada, you can just find one on Canada. You can even ask like any AI, they'll help you out as well with it. If you're not in America or Canada, first of all, check how to get set up in your country. And if you can sign up for this service, it's pretty expensive, but it's good, where you can basically send blue texts, okay? Essentially a SMS sending service, except all the SMS that they send is sent from iPhones or the API or something. But essentially the most important thing is that the text that they are able to send with their platform will all come up as blue text on iPhones. And when someone gets a blue text, they already know that it's like trustworthy in a way, because it's not coming up as green, which like anyone can send, right? But when it comes up as blue, it's like, okay, this is a real person with a real iPhone messaging me. If you can't get that service, then you could also, if you have an appointment setter, you can give them an iPhone or get them an iPhone and get them to do that. Or you can do it yourself, depends again on your audience size. If you have a big audience, then I would not recommend doing that, of course. And you need to make sure, of course, that you reply stop to opt out. You have that on every single SMS, or it can get messy. There's gonna be way less SMS compared to emails in general, okay? So for nurture, this is only for people who are already registered. Just remind them and give them value, okay? The way I like it, which I actually saw from Hormozy the first time, was, hey, John, it's Benham. You signed up for AI agency webinar on blah, blah, blah day. I'm gonna be sending you 5 more texts. 2 of them are gonna be reminders and 3 of them are gonna be golden nuggets. I love this because it like sets the expectation, and it makes it so that people are way less likely to like opt out or get annoyed or something, because they'll be like, oh yeah, he said he was gonna send me like, 2 reminders and 3 golden nuggets and 5 texts. So 24 hours before the webinar, you can do a reminder. Again, I don't need to go through all this. You get the idea. 4 to 6 hours before, like on the morning of the webinar, another reminder. 60 minutes before, and then 5 minutes before, drop that link so that they can join early. Yeah, you want to have the link everywhere as you get close to your webinar. You just want everyone to be able to join. This is another general concept. It's like, you don't want to lock it off. Like, just get people to join once your webinar is live. Yes, okay, they might not be as qualified, let's say, as like others, but you never know who's gonna join, and if they join like on the time of the webinar, then they could also be good prospects. So promotional SMS, so as in people who are not registered yet, these can only be sent to people who already opted in to receiving SMS from you, but they did not sign up to your webinar yet. So 7 days before your webinar, you can say, hey, I'm hosting a free live webinar, reply yes if you want a spot, or you can just drop the link in that as well. If they reply yes and you didn't drop the link, then you say, okay, cool, here's the link. And then 1 to 2 days before, if they still have not joined, then you can drop them another text and then just drop the link here. With this, you don't need to go overboard. And the reason that it's 7 days before, not like 28 days, let's say before, is because you just want them to join and remember. You don't want them to join like and then, you know, forget about the whole thing. Plus, probably a lot of people would have joined by this point, which means you can send out less SMS, which is good. Now, in terms of organic content, so Instagram, YouTube, how are you gonna actually hype this up? How are you gonna hype the webinar up? I'm gonna go through two things first. Instagram DM call to action videos, like reels, and then YouTube long form call to action, how you can do it. So in terms of Instagram DM call to action, this is something that can be so powerful. I'm gonna show you this example. 18.1K comments, and I've seen some with even more than this. Imagine this for a webinar. Imagine you got this many comments and like emails and stuff like for a webinar. It's gonna be crazy. Obviously, this is easier said than done. That goes without saying. And I just want to show you this video.
You can see only your bio. Save it and then go directly to ChatGPT. Here you can analyze different files, but also images. After that, upload to ChatGPT the screenshot that you just saved. Then copy and paste the prompt that I create for this. And when you have this done, just press on generate. It will give you a complete bio review, show you what can be improved, and create a perfect bio optimized just for you. If you want a free access to this prompt, just comment the word bio and I will send it to you.
This is obviously something big and desirable that the audience wants, but it's probably inconvenient for them to try to figure out what that prompt was. Okay, and this is the general idea that you want to use when you're creating this DM call to action on Instagram. Okay, relate this big thing to your webinar, right? Even on that reel, for example, if I was that guy and I was running a webinar, I would have just said like, DM if you want this and to get a spot on my webinar where I'm gonna cover this and like way better stuff, like whatever XYZ better stuff, right? I recommend showing yourself actually using this thing to solve the problem. So like as that guy did, literally shows it on his phone on ChatGPT doing it to solve the problem. What you need for this is of course an automation to actually reply. I'm not going to do this in this video, but tools like ManyChat, High Level also has this where you can basically link your Instagram account and then set up an automation when a keyword is commented to send them a specific message on their DMs or the link, or ask them for their email first and then get the link, right? You can set it up however you want. There's a lot of tutorials out there for that, but of course you need this automation. You're not going to go through 18.1K comments. Then you need a way to actually send this lead magnet, okay? Whether it's via ManyChat, like directly on the Instagram DMs, or it's via email. The thing is, what I usually like to do is I like to get them to fill out a form. And I like that because then I can qualify them for the webinar. You get them to fill out a form, you send that form via DM on Instagram, and then there's an automation that if they get assigned that tag, send them the lead magnet email. I know it sounds complicated, but it's not that complicated. You just need to make sure you do it step by step, and you need to make sure you test it. Like test the whole thing end to end before you actually go live with it, so you make sure that it works once you go live. Imagine you get 18.1K comments and like none of them are working. It's gonna be a disaster, okay? This is the YouTube long form CTA. So there's two types of CTAs you can do on YouTube. You can either do a direct one or something called show not tell. Show not tell is basically you actually demonstrating yourself using the thing you want to sell them instead of saying go to the description and click the link, and you don't need to say that with show not tell. This is not really possible with webinars, but I wanted to mention it just in case you might find it useful. Let's say I want to sell a book and I'm teaching something in that book on my video. At one point, I'll just say, so I'm going to go to my book on page XYZ and I'm just going to get the formula from this book and I'm going to apply it right now. Now, someone that's watching that wants to learn whatever you're teaching is going to be like, wait, I want to get that book so I can get more formulas like that, or I have access to that formula, right? Or like, what else is that book going to have? They might start thinking. You can't really do that with webinars, but you can do a direct CTA. You can do this 30% of your way through your video, right? If you have a 4-week launch for the webinar, like you're gonna launch it in 4 weeks, then you can maybe do multiple of these, and you just need to make sure you make it super clear. On XYZ day, I'm gonna be running a webinar. What is the webinar? What do they get from it? Say it quickly, and then say click the link in the description to sign up. It's completely free. Best case, you're gonna learn this. Worst case, this is gonna happen. Like obviously it's gonna be a no-brainer. No matter what though, you need to make sure you have a pinned comment also with a very short text CTA. So like click here to join the webinar, and then the link to the sign up page. And then you also want to make sure that your very first line before the description, before the read more thing on YouTube, is the same thing, same CTA, same link. Click here to join the webinar, sign up for the webinar. First line of the description. The reason for this is because no one clicks read more, like not many people do. On mobile, it's even hard because the description doesn't even show. You need to first press something for the description to even show. So I would recommend the pinned comment 1000%. You could also do a YouTube VSL to promote the webinar. webinar, I would also highly recommend this because, I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you're gonna do a bunch of VSLs, you might as well write one for YouTube as well. And it can basically be kind of coded as an evergreen video, but what's in it is actually you getting them to sign up for the webinar. Obviously, it's not gonna be evergreen once you've actually launched the webinar and it's done. It would be pretty cool if you can have like a specific dedicated VSL on YouTube for the webinar. Paid traffic. When it comes to Facebook and Instagram ads, this is what I can talk on, and what I can say is you need to have like at least 100 to 200 plus creatives if you're going to do a 4-week launch, and you need to consistently monitor and add more creatives as you see the need to. If you see something's not working, there's no reason for it to continue spending money, and therefore you need to update it. I'm not gonna go super deep on paid traffic in this video. These are the basics. Like, you need to have a lot of creatives. The creatives are the main part. You need to make sure your copy is calling out your target audience, all of that good stuff. You basically just need to constantly be monitoring it and adding more creatives every single week up till the launch, because that's what's gonna do well. And if you've never run ads, then you need to start finding what your winners are and then keep adding to that list and keep testing different things. But like I said, I'm not gonna go through that in this video. Affiliates need to have some reward, which is so worth it. I'm just gonna give you an example straight away. Look at what the top 10 affiliates get for Hormozi. One-on-one fireside chat with Hormozi, amazing thing that the top 10 affiliates get. Free private dinner, awesome as well. Plus you get all the prizes below as well. Top 50 be one of 50 people guaranteed VIP spots to come to our HQ for all day free workshop. Again, people pay a lot of money for this, and he's not like just giving people money. He's giving them the thing that not a lot of people can get access to, right? If you're top 10, you get the one-on-one, you get the private dinner, you get the full workshop where they actually help you with your business, all part of that top 50 affiliates. Obviously, you're bringing him a lot of money by being a top affiliate, but it's something that is like, it's just a win-win. Now, anyone who invites 10 plus people, automatic entry for a chance to win one of 50 extra workshop spots. So there's gonna be 100 attendees, 50 of them are guaranteed on this, 50 of them are gonna be one of 10 people who invited 10 plus people. Sorry, one of 50 people. You get a high quality recording of the entire workshop, and then you get a free, this was unique to this only, like free unreleased audiobook of 71-minute business tactics by Alex Hormozi. This is how you do good affiliate marketing, because these things are awesome, like something which is unique that no one else has gotten, just for the people that invite 10 plus. And then anyone who just registers as an affiliate, like let's say you're not sure you're gonna invite that many people and stuff, just for registering you get a behind like the scenes view of like the ads that are working, and like you get a whole affiliate black book and like all these DM scripts and stuff like that. And it's just like, this is sick. Like, I joined the affiliate program and I didn't even invite anyone to the thing, you know? So yeah, that's how you do affiliates well. And then obviously you can give them the option to affiliate after they already signed up. I wouldn't really advertise it a lot. It's kind of like hard to keep a balance of like keeping all the traffic on getting people to sign up for the webinar, but then also doing affiliates. Obviously, if you're doing a 4-week launch, it might not make sense to do affiliates, but I just wanted to throw it in there in case some of you wanted to do that. Show up gift. So how do you actually want to do the show up gift? You want to use curiosity as much as you can. The more curiosity you can build and make it seem really good, as long as it is really good, then the better. The more you can hype it up, the better, without saying what it actually is. If you can give more gifts, give more gifts. Like if you have a lot of stuff and you feel like it's going to make the experience better and you feel like it's going to get people, you know, piqued on their interest, then do more, right? And you can actually give it to the people who stay until the end if you want to. So if you want to get people to stay until the end, you can say only for the people to stay until the end, or the people who stay until the XYZ mark, the hour mark, or whatever it is, they are the ones that will get it. Now, obviously, you need a way to actually track who gets until the end, which is gonna be a bit difficult. Honestly, I will just send it to everyone that shows up. Unless you have a way to track it, then you can go ahead and do that. But I will just give it to everyone who shows up. Like, you should be able to export CSV on Zoom of the people who showed up. Also talk about the hammer them concept when it comes to marketing. Once someone signed up, the goal with hammer them is to keep, like the name suggests, hammering them with reminders, with value, with proof, and just keep this on the top of their mind, because a 4-week cycle, a 4-week launch of a webinar, people are gonna forget in 4 weeks. They might not be that hyped. They might have signed up and then forgot about it, right? you need to keep bringing it up, which is why I love the Skool, which is why I love the WhatsApp, right? It keeps people engaged and it keeps them active about your webinar. Obviously, you can do it with emails as well, which I showed. You can do it also with retargeting ads. Like anyone that signed up, don't send them the regular ads to sign up to the webinar. Send them ads which are don't even have any CTA. These ads you record like, let's say 10, 20 of them, and they're literally just more value and reminding of the webinar. That's it, right? Imagine people sign up and you have these retargeting ads. You're going to be on the top of their mind, and that's going to increase ultimately the show up rate, which is ultimately going to increase how many high ticket sales you make. You can keep reminding them on organic content as well. Why not? You have a social channel, you might as well use it for that. And then again, obviously the live winnings, okay? I wanna quickly touch on what you upsell on the webinar as well. Ideally, you upsell something high ticket, and the reason for that is because it's gonna be the highest return on your time, usually, right? However, if you have a very big audience and you're doing a huge webinar, then obviously something mid-ticket or maybe even something low ticket can work. For example, Hormozi obviously did his Money Models book launch, but there's hundreds of thousands of people on that launch. I think there was like 150,000 or 200,000, I don't know, on the launch. And that's why he was able to make so much money, was because the volume was there. If you don't have the volume, then you should go for high ticket because you can make more money from less people. You want to make the high ticket offer a no-brainer. This is not like a crazy document or anything, but I think it will help just understand how you can do the offer. I'm not going to go through this word for word, but let's say you're teaching how to sell AI automations. You're either going to have a done for you offer, a done with you offer, or you're going to have a do it yourself offer. Do it yourself means you're not going to help them with anything. You're just going to give them the material and it's up to them to take action. A done with you offer is what it sounds like. You're going to help them, but you're not going to do everything for them. You're going to have maybe coaching sessions with them, group calls with them, help them when they need help, answer their questions and stuff like that, but you're not going to do everything for them. Done for you, on the other hand, is obviously where you're just doing everything. Now, done for you, you can charge more money because the value is higher, but you're going to get less people to sign up based on the price. If you know the people that you have in your audience want something done for them, they don't really want to do work. And I don't mean that they're lazy and they're not going to pay and stuff. I'm saying they want to pay, they're busy, they just don't have the time, or for whatever reason they can't do it. Then you can go for done for you if you don't have an offer yet. But maybe this will help you think about your current offer as well. Done with you is good for coaching, let's say sales coaching, stuff like that. You can't really do it for them, right? You're not going to hop on sales calls for them. This is a skill that they need to learn, so it needs to be done with you. And then you can have like guarantees, bonuses, stuff like that. We already talked about some guarantees. Again, it's up to you which one you go for, but just keep in mind also the offer equation when you're making these, and just try to make it as no-brainer as you can. That's like the best thing I can say. If you have a good offer and there's a good guarantee to kind of just make people comfortable, that's what the guarantee really does. They're not going to refund. It's just they need that push to kind of be like, you know what, if the worst comes to worst, I'm going to get my money back at least, or I'm going to get coached until I land my first client, and then that's going to give me money at least, right? So that's what it's really for. Obviously, mid-ticket, low-ticket can work. It just depends on a lot of factors, like how much time you're going to actually put into the delivery. If you're doing a mid-ticket, and not only do you need to do the whole webinar for 2 days, but then you also need to actually spend time with them and deliver and do calls and stuff, it might not make sense. Again, you know your numbers. Just keep these things in mind. Last thing, delivery and operations. This is pretty basic. You want to make sure that you know who the host of the call is, who the moderator is, and any other roles that you want to have in your webinar. You need to make sure that that's defined and that everyone knows what they need to do in specific moments during the webinar. If someone needs to drop the CTA link when you're doing the CTA, they need to be aware and they need to be listening in the webinar and make sure that they drop that link when they need to drop it. There may be some softwares that can automate this, I'm not sure, but I know for sure with Zoom you can't really do that. You need to do a tech check, so just make sure all the tech is working, all the automations, everything. There's a lot of things that go into this webinar. Make sure that they're actually working properly. Do a full check end to end. End to end means you go from the very starting point where someone begins and you go to the very end point where there's no longer any interaction with your service. So for example, I opt into an email sequence from the very beginning where I fill out the form, or when I even see the link, I click the link, I go to the form, I fill out the form, I see if I get the emails. FAQ document / website. This is going to be very useful as well for handling objections. Someone wants to sign up to your high ticket. If you have a landing page, make sure that on like the calendar thing, you have FAQs, right? It will basically just help people to go across the line, because some people might have concerns when they're, let's say, booking a call or purchasing something. FAQs are just going to help, as you saw on the Hormozi landing page as well. Show up gift delivery delivery. How are you actually going to deliver the show up gift? Test this, make sure it's ready, make sure that it's bulletproof in the fact that it will work, because a lot of people might complain or feel cheated if they didn't get their show up gift. And then just make sure all the automations, as you saw, there's a lot here, make sure all of them are ready, and then you're pretty much good to go. At that point, you know how to run a successful webinar. And if you want me to run this webinar for you for free, then go ahead, click the link in the description or the pinned comment and book a call, and let's have a chat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.